All right, I'm going to pray for us. I'm going to jump straight in. Father God in heaven, thank you for this day, this time, these people in this church. Let your word be shared. Let people leave knowing you better. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Amen. All right, we're going to jump straight in. I'm excited that you're here. Our message for today is simply titled, Don't Waste Your Life. We are finishing up our series on The Move is Missional, where we've been talking about a mission mindset and what that looks like. Is the little tap tap thing working? We got some are working. All right, if you try it a couple more times, it might work. The goal for that is, the reason I brought it up again is because on the tap tap is the Bible app. And so if you tap it, you can go to the Bible app and it has all the notes for this message on the app. If it doesn't work for you, you can go to the Bible app on your, what's it called, the little app store. And you can go to the Bible app and you can find Bible City Church on there. And then if you were trying to give or sign up, we'll put it back up on the screen later with the QR codes and the link to do all the things. So let me jump straight in. Our text today is in James 4:13 through 15, and it says this, come now. Now, that come now, if you translated that to like Atlanta, it would be like, come on, man, right? So he's like, come on, man. You who say today or tomorrow we will go to such and such city and spend, by the way, I love that the Bible, like I didn't make this up. This is how this is translated. Like today or tomorrow we will go to such and such city. I feel like James might have been from like, South Fulton, I'm just saying. Today or tomorrow we will go to such and such city and spend a year there and engage in business and make a profit. Yet, you do not know what your life will be like tomorrow. For you are just a vapor that appears for a little while and then vanishes away. Instead, you ought to say, if the Lord wills, we will live and also do this or that. James here is kind of saying, hey, listen, a lot of you are making some assumptions about life. You're saying some things that you think that you want, that you hope for, but it puts us in this position to think about something that most of us would rather avoid. And that is this existential question that people should wrestle with. And I can say this factually, as you get older, you will start to think about this more. And it's, what is your life? It's, what is your life? Like, it's interesting that when Neosha and I talk about this all the time, because I'm starting to feel old. Like, I went and did a stretching class, and I had to stretch before the stretching class to make sure that I was able to stretch in the stretching class. Like, I used to be Ant's age. I was young and I was energetic and I was cute and I had a hairline. And I wear a hat now because my hairline is not what it used to be. You'll get here one day. Long time. But it used to be like not as strong as his, but it was out here. I used to be able to just wake up and my friend would be like, you want to go play basketball? And I would just go play basketball. Now I have to prepare 2 days to play golf. Right, I gotta process it. Somebody said, wow, it's a true statement. Like, I'm getting older. And as part of that, I start to have this realization. I told you, statistically, 42, I'm over halfway done. Like, if I live the average life for a man is 74. Neosha, when we were first dating, she just said, oh my God, because she knows what I'm about to say. When we first started dating, we just got married. I was 31. I was a young whippersnapper. She was older than me at 32. But at 31, she was like, yeah, when you're not here anymore in 30 years, and I did the math. I said, 31 plus 30, 61? She's trying to get me out of here at 61. Is that bad? We just got married, right? But it makes me think, and it makes us process the question, what is life? And so when he looks at it, when he answers the question, James poses the question, it makes you think that, and then he answers it and he says, life is a vapor. Like, think about that. Your entire existence from the moment that you're born to your last breath, that area that's represented by the dash on your tombstone is a vapor. Like, it's here one moment and it's gone the next moment. You see it and then it vanishes. Not that, that's like the micro perspective, the personalized perspective. When you zoom out at the macro perspective, our universe is 13.8 billion years old, according to science. Our planet is spinning around the sun at 67,000 miles per hour, while our solar system is orbiting around the center of the Milky Way galaxy at roughly 514,000 miles per hour. And you find yourself sitting on a blue dot in the middle of billions of galaxies. You're one of one in the totality of existence. There's never been another you. There will never be another you. For all of history, there was never another you. You are uniquely made. You are the rarest thing in the universe. You technically, mathematically should not exist, yet you're sitting here, and all that's wrapped up in the fact that your life is a vapor. Like, that should humble you. It should be sobering, but it should also be very freeing. Like, it should also put you in this position where you understand that you can't control how long you're going to live. You can't control how long you're going to be here, but you can control how you live. Moreover, the creator of the universe and the heavens and all the things, he knows you. He knows you by name. He knows you by creation. He knows you by design. He values you that much. The Bible says he knew you in your mother's womb. That means he knew you before you took your first breath. Like, that's who we're talking about. That's who the creator of the universe is. Like, he knows you. He knows everything about you, all the stuff we try to hide, your search history you try to delete. When you go on your iPhone and you're in the private browsing, it ain't private. Like, he can see it. I mean, that's a real life situation for a lot of people. He can see that private browser. And most of us are either rushing through life without purpose, or we're wasting time as if we have forever to figure it out. And James says both are wrong. Life is not refundable. Time is not guaranteed. Life is fragile. So he's saying live it out. So here's the real question for the rest of this message that I think James' comment forces us to address and deal with. It is, what will you do with your vapor? What will you do with your vapor? If I'm being honest with you, I was talking to Pastor Brandon backstage earlier. I don't know exactly how many points I have because I'm not really sure exactly where I'm going today, which is fun for me, dangerous for you, dangerous for me and Neosha's marriage, because who knows what happens here. And so point one is this: planning without God is presumption. Planning without God is presumption. It says, come now, South Atlanta, come on, dog. You who say today or tomorrow we will go to such and such city and spend a year there and engage in business to make a profit. Then the voice translation of that same text is in the Bible app. It's on. If you look at the U version on YouTube online, you can find this version of the Bible. I like it because it translates things into plain English sometimes. The voice version says this: listen carefully, instead of the other version. Listen carefully. Those of you who make your plans and say, we are traveling to this city in the next few days, we'll stay there for 1 year while our business explodes and revenue is up. The people James are talking about here, he's kind of rebuking them. And what he's saying is that you weren't sinning by planning, they were sinning by presuming. They're presuming a lot of things. They're making a lot of presumptions. They had strategies, schedules, spreadsheets. They had bare plans. And what we're seeing here is that they didn't have God's plans as a part. They didn't make their plans a part of God's plans. They weren't just planning, they were being mighty presumptuous. And I want to define presumption real quick. So presumption is an attitude of taking something for granted or assuming authority that's not yours. There are times as a dad where my kids are mighty presumptuous. Like, especially with like technology. They just come and they will take Neosha's cell phone. And I said Neosha's cell phone because they don't play with my cell phone. But Neosha's cell phone, they just presume it's their cell phone. Or if there's a treat on the counter, they just presume that treat is fair game and they will presume to eat it. And there's nothing that infuriates me more in life. You can call me the N-word. Delete that from YouTube. You can say whatever you want to say about my mama. But if I come home after a long day and I'm expecting my donut, my blueberry donut, to be on the counter, and I come home, and not that they've eaten it, but I walk in and witness the last bite of it. We gonna fight. That is mighty presumptuous. It's assuming authority that ain't yours. Theologically, presumption is acting as if you know or control what God only knows and controls. It's stepping into God's seat and assuming his sovereignty. It's like writing a check with your life that you can't cash. Planning isn't the problem, though. Pride is. Planning says, I'll be wise with my time. Pride says, I don't need God's time and I'll make my own. Planning says, I'm preparing for the future. Pride says, the future belongs to me. Like we've all seen the shirt or the slogan, the future belongs to me. No, it doesn't. Planning says, I'll set goals, but hold them open-handed. Pride says, my goals are guaranteed because I'm the one that set them. Planning says, I'm going to work hard and trust God with the outcome. Pride says, I don't need God's will, I already know what's best for me. The issue isn't that we plan, it's when our plan replaces God's presence. And it's easy for us to let that happen by accident. The issue is when strategy becomes sovereign in our lives. It's when when preparation turns to presumption. And I'm not telling you not to prepare. I'm not telling you not to plan. But planning without God is not confidence. It is arrogance. And there are a lot of arrogant people that think they know everything about everything. And so they take steps without prayer. They take steps without planning on listening to God. They take steps and don't do what he told them to do. It's assuming you control the calendar when you don't control your next breath. James says your life is a vapor. It's here today and gone tomorrow. Every plan without prayer is presumption, because when you leave God out of the plan, you're living like you're God. You're living like God is a cosmic consultant who we can just tap into whenever we want to hear what he thinks about the direction of the movie of our lives that star us. It's arrogance, when in reality, you don't hold the world in your hands, he does. But we live like it's up to us to control it. So the truth is this: it is not wrong to use a planner. It is not wrong to have a 1, 3, and 5-year plan. It is not wrong to have a vision board in your house. It is not wrong to have goals for the rest of 2025. It is wrong to act like you're the plan of eternity. It's wrong to act like you are the creator of the heavens and the universe and the dictator of all the things that's going to happen in your future and your life. It is wrong to assume that you are confident and able enough to tell God what's going to happen and be best for your future. That is not your job. But many of us are exhausted because we're carrying the weight of being our own God. Many of us are exhausted because we're carrying the weight of being our own God, treating tomorrow as if tomorrow's waiting on us to figure out what tomorrow looks like. James reminds us, you don't own tomorrow, you don't control tomorrow, you don't know tomorrow. Only God does. There's a term, I'm nerd out a little bit here, and we'll try to explain it in a real relevant, quick way. There's a term that I want to introduce to a lot of people. I'm a nerd. We talked about this, okay? There's this term called omnitemporal. God is omnitemporal. When you go through theological training, you talk about how God is omnipresent, omnipotent, God is omnitemporal. That means God is not bound by past, present, or future. I have a slide. I do have a slide. Look at that. Come on. God is omnitemporal. That means this: where you're headed, God already is. Where you were, God already is. Where you are, God already is. God is in the past, he's in the present, and the future, all at the same time, in the same moment. Time is not a construct for God. It is not something that is an issue for him. So he is simultaneously present in all times, at all times. God doesn't just see time, he reigns over time. He is in yesterday, today, and tomorrow all at once. He's eternal, no beginning, no end. And some of you are trapped trying to dictate to him, the person who is over time, over creation, the beginning, middle, and end, in the past, present, and the future, what's best for you. Some of you are trying to dictate to him what your life is going to be like. And the definition of being presumptuous rather than living a life that says, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to trust God and take the next best step. That's what your life should be about. That's what should dictate where you're going. That should dictate your future. It should be to trust God, and to take the next best step. I'm a firm believer. Listen, I will never tell you arrogantly as a biblical scholar to just pray about it. Like, it drives me crazy when people say that. Like, just pray about it. Just pray. Like, God gave you a brain. He gave you logic. He gave you rationale. He gave you a thought process. He gave you the ability to learn. He gave you the ability to use all the tools he gave you. So for sure, pray. And prayer is where you learn to trust God. And then you take the next best step. You process the knowledge that he's given you, the ability that he's given you. He's giving you talents. He's giving you gifts. Some, like Pastor Brandon here is exponentially more creative than I am. It's not even close. I mean, it's not even like a thing for me. I don't feel bad about it. I'm not wrestling with like, God, if you could just make me more creative so that I can come up with better slides and I could think through, how do I put a grass wall in Vibe City Church and how do I do these things? Like, this man sent me a text with a picture of the lobby of the church that we're going to. And part of the conversation was, he said, gee, be open to what I'm about to send you. And it was a picture of a grass wall. And Neosha and I will tell you, before we launched this church, there was a dude, and you know how everybody's gangster on Instagram or Facebook? There was this Facebook thug who decided he was gangster enough that day to comment on a church's post with negativity for some reason. And he said, a church named Vibe probably has a grass wall in the lobby. And I forgot that he said that. And Brandon sent me a picture of a grass wall in the lobby for the future of Vibe City Church. And Neosha said, remember that guy? If you're watching, sir, you should come check it out. The pictures look really cool. And we're definitely doing it now. We're in Atlanta, Church is Vibe City, brunch spot maybe, grass wall. We're doing it. We're going to auto gratuity, all the things. Whenever you see a grass wall, just assume the tip's included, guys. We all know it's true. Whenever you go to an establishment, if there's a grass wall, at least 18% is going to be on the paper. And then, real quick, not on the tablet, they are going to try to sneak in a better tip because it doesn't say that they already tipped. It just says additional tip, but it's like faded out. Just don't, grass wall, assume you already paid the tip. Okay, back to the talk. Sorry about that. Now listen. I don't even know where I was going. I got to stop getting lost on my tablet. Listen, trust God, take the next best step. That is what should dictate and guide your life. That sentence, trust God and take the next best step. That is not you being presumptuous about your future. That is you understanding the logic that God is in control. So when you trust him and take the next best step, it puts him in position to guide that step. So watch this. Where you're headed, God already is. Where your fear is waiting to meet you, God already is. Where the enemy is plotting to take you out, God already is. Where your breakthrough is coming for you, God already is. Where that door that you have no business being on the other side of, with all the things that you've done in your past that you feel like should stop you from getting there, God already is, and that door is going to open for you. You have to understand that when you get to a place where you prioritize prayer over prosperity, where you prioritize your future over your frustration, where you understand that your destiny is waiting in front of you, God already is. And if you accept and understand that God already is, you don't walk into tomorrow looking for God, you walk into tomorrow with God because he's already there waiting on you. And so when you live like you are walking with God, you walk differently. You live differently. People might think you're arrogant, but that's not arrogance when you're walking with God. That is Godfidence. That is a level of confidence that you get when you really know and trust him. Like you people might say, man, you too much. When the truth is you are not being too much. You're being who God called you to be, and you are boldly stepping out on that branch. Like, people need to see what confident Christians look like who are confident in Jesus and not being presumptuous in their own power. Like, I don't presume anything. Like it is not, like, I don't even think I'm like a good pastor. Like, I don't think I'm a good preacher. I kill myself trying to do this. It takes 7 days to come up with each one of these. And the Yosh will tell you, I legitimately delete the first 3. Like, it's a brutal process. I delete 3 of these. So if you look at my computer, Each version of these, there's like 5 of them. It's my toxic habit because I don't presume to have it. And then on a Friday night at 2 o'clock in the morning, when I'm just done and just praying, I trust God and take the next best step. Point 2 is this. I'm going to speed up. I see my clock over here. They got a clock on me today, guys. Point 2, small decisions create big directions. Psalm 90:12 says this, teach us to number our days carefully so that we may develop wisdom in our hearts. To number our days carefully means living with intentionality, not by accident. Number our days carefully, how? You do things carefully that matter. Like when things don't matter, we kind of rush through the process and mess things up. But when something matters, we will slow down and we will take our time to do them right. Now, slow down is the part that a lot of us presume to know, and we get ahead of where God's moving us. Like I promise you, we didn't know that we had a 7-month pit stop here. Like we love this school. We love these people. I see Sergeant Benjamin in the back. We've rocked with this man since day one. He's looked out for us. Like these are great people here. And we didn't realize at the time that we were going to be moving in 7 months. But all we can do is trust God and take the next best step. And then we get to, what I love is the text. I love breaking down the text. And so when you look at that scripture, it says, teach us to number our days carefully so that. And when you get to that, so that line indicates that wisdom is not inherent or automatic. It's developed when we learn to treat time as sacred. Wisdom comes when we understand the value of the amount of time we had to spend with Jesus so we can become who he's called us to be. There's another translation in the Bible, the Voice version, I referenced it earlier. I like this version of it. It says this, teach us to number our days so that we may truly live and achieve wisdom. Like number your days so that you can truly live. I love the depth that translation adds. It highlights that so that we can truly live. To truly live means to refuse to go through life on autopilot. It's not about surviving. It's not about surviving. It's not about making money. It's not about chasing comfort. To truly live means to live in a daily relationship with God, walking in purpose instead of drifting aimlessly, prioritizing eternal impact over temporary pleasure. The summary of those 2 translations, when you combine them together, is simply this. To count your days is to make your days count. To count your days is to make your days count. Psychologists estimate that you and I, every person, makes roughly 35,000 decisions per day. 35,000. Like it may not seem like it because all of them aren't massive decisions, but just think about like, am I going to step this way? Am I going to step that way? Am I going to go this way? Am I going to do this? Am I going to eat now? Am I going to eat late? Like all these little decisions, you make 35,000 decisions a day. That is 12 million decisions per year. Every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. Every choice you make is pushing your vapor, your short, fragile life somewhere. Your life is too short to waste on accidental living. If you don't learn to number your days, you'll spend them, but you won't invest them. And there are a lot of people that are just spending their days. There are a lot of people that are just wasting their days. There are a lot of people who are not investing their life in what will outlive them and what matters most. Every decision is either diluting your vapor or directing your vapor towards wisdom and purpose. Listen, think about it this way. It's like every day, because we're in America, we think this way. Every day, God gives you $35,000. Every day. Now, some of us spend it on worry. We waste it. Here's some money. Some of us spend it on scrolling. Some of us spend it on toxic relationships. We spend it on this or that. And then some people invest it. And when you invest that $35,000, there's a return on the investment. But if you did it like this, okay, please have a $1 bill. Please have a $1. That's a daggum shame. I got like 20. But it's like this. If you take this $20 bill, and I gave you this $20 bill, who wants the $20 bill? Neil should know. Okay. Maya, you want the 20. Okay. Now, I can give you the 20, right? I'm going to give you the 20. Now, this $20 bill, I didn't have a $1 bill in my pocket before I ripped it up. It's tragic. The $20 bill. A lot of us, take the gift that God gives us and we rip it up. We don't value it. We waste it. We don't understand that this is like currency, that you can do something with it, that if you invest it, you'll get a return on the investment. And what's interesting, the fact is, when I talked about it and the 35,000 and wasting and all this, people didn't say anything. I ripped up the 20 and people audibly reacted to it. People were flabbergasted. Somebody in the back was disgusted with me because that wasn't a $1 bill and it wasn't fake money. That was a real 20 and people reacted to it. But when we waste the opportunity, the 35,000 decisions a day that God's given us, nobody cares. No one says anything. We don't even react to ourselves wasting our time. We think to ourselves, that's fine. I'm going to get $35,000 more tomorrow. And so we think I'm going to have another opportunity to figure out how to invest my time better or spend my day better. When the realities are most of us are just going to compound yesterday's issues into tomorrow. And you waste $35,000 more. You waste $20 more. Like if I legitimately gave you $35,000 and said, every time you don't do something worthy of your time, I'm going to burn $1. How many dollars would you have at the end of the day? And then I wonder how much you'd react to watching your money burn, as opposed to watching each of the minutes of your life waste by that God gave you to be an impact player for the kingdom. Life is not measured in minutes. It is measured in meaning, because you can live a long life and miss the point, or you can live a short life and leave an internal impact. Time on earth is not about how many ticks, how many likes you get, how many ticks on the clock you get, how many followers you have on Instagram or the TikTok. It's about what you do with the time you get. Life is not measured in years, it's measured in yeses. Not just how many birthdays you celebrate, but how many times you said yes to God's call, yes to obedience, yes to loving people when it's hard, yes to forgiveness, yes to being inconvenienced by the things that God put in front of you. We have a team of people that volunteer at this church. We have a team of people that step up and serve at this church. It is inconvenient for them. It is not convenient. They get to church on Saturdays at 9 a.m. to set all this stuff up. It is not convenient. And this Saturday is during like football season. Like some people missed some football games yesterday to make sure we could have church today. When we moved to the new location, shout out to Florida State, they held it down. There you go. When we moved, if any Bama fans in here? Wow. They already lost. Take it easy on them, guys. Listen, when we moved to the new location, load in is at 7:30 in the morning. That means people are getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning to get to that church on time to set that up. It is not a convenient lifestyle. And fun fact, Latoya right here is in charge of our load in, load out. She's our facilities person. On the way to set up church 2 Saturdays ago, her pastor, of all people, ran into the back of her car. Don't judge me. I didn't do it on purpose. Her car is in the shop because of me. She got a ride here yesterday to still load the truck. Like, it's not convenient, right? Shout out to you. You're better than me. I appreciate you. Also, she got me these shoes. Yeah. Did you get me shoes? I'm joking. Let me refocus. I'm sorry, guys. But shout out. The shoes are my favorite things right now. Listen, it's not convenient to follow Jesus. It's not convenient to live this out. But if you truly decide to invest your 35,000 decisions, if you truly decide to trust and follow him, then what is inconvenient short time will lead to eternal reward that you can't fathom right now. But you have to have an eternal perspective that understands the reality around you is just temporary and where you're going is eternal. So I don't care if it's not convenient for a short time. And by a short time, it could be 50 years. 50 years is a short time. 100 years is a short time. Eternity lasts forever. And you have to understand the thought process. You got to view the world through that lens that I don't care how much I don't want to get up on a Saturday morning. I don't care how early I got to get up to be at church on time. We're playing an eternal game, and I want everybody to know Jesus. I want everyone to get a glimpse of him. And if that is my posture, then it's not inconvenient for me to get up. It's not inconvenient for me to show up. It's not inconvenient for me to serve. It's what I have to do so people can know him. The quality of your vapor is determined by the quality of your choices. James says your life is a vapor. It shows up for a minute and it's gone. And what you do with that mist matters. Every choice is like a rewind, brush stroke on the canvas of your life. That was pretty cool. I should add that to my repertoire thing. Just whenever I want to delete something, I say it out loud. Every yes and every no is shaping your story. You do not control how long the vapor lasts, but you do control where the vapor goes. And that's up to you. You may not get to choose the length of your life. None of us do. But you do get to choose the legacy you leave behind. Like there are people on our team that are going through loss right now. And the loss is difficult to process. You know, as a pastor, I've done a bunch of funerals. And when I do funerals for people who are 70, 80, 90, like it's sad because somebody passed away. But 70, 80, 90, they lived a full life. Like statistically, they outran the average lifespan of this country. So it's surely sad. But a lot of times people understand that's the nature of living. But I've also done funerals for 16-year-olds and 19-year-olds and 21-year-olds. And those are hard to do because it feels like that was a short amount of time. And we have people on our team that are walking through a season where they lost somebody who was a teenager. And it feels like a short amount of time. And it feels heavy because you don't expect to see that. And there's nothing that you can say as a pastor or a person to make that situation feel better. There's nothing you can give a person in that moment that's going to make that better. And I don't pretend to have an answer or a why that makes that situation better. But what I do know is that while we can't choose the length of our life, we can choose the legacy of our lives. And I have seen the impact that an 18-year-old life can have on her entire family, and how people can remember who she was and what she did, and how that impacts them, how that influences them, and how that steps up to how they're going to live. And so when I see people hurting because they lost somebody who was 18, that means they're hurting because they lost somebody who impacted them. They lost somebody who they loved. They lost somebody who they wanted to do life with for a long time, but we don't get to determine how long life is. We do get to determine the legacy we leave behind. And so as we hurt for our team and we hurt for you and that person, we understand that God is with you in the middle of it, and that the impact that we get the opportunity to have when we truly lean in and love and pour into him and understand that it's not about how long we live, it's about what we do over here. The realities of death and life should take on a different perspective for each and every one of us. Point 3 is this: you got to live linked. Legacy is not about how long you live, it's about who you are linked to and what you're living for. Many of us can feel insignificant, like your life doesn't matter. But when your vapor links with purposes of God and the people of God, your life multiplies into a movement. It can be 18 years or it can be 100 years. If your vapor links up with other people and God's purpose, he can use it for a movement. John 15:5 says this. This is Jesus talking. I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. The branch doesn't have to stress about producing grapes. It just has to stay linked to the vine. The fruit flows not from the effort of the branch. The fruit flows from the connection to the vine. You want life that matters. You want to be remembered. Then you got to remember that the branch in God's family tree is where you find yourself. So you find your significance in the fact that you're a part of the branch that's connected to Jesus, and the fruit that you produce is not on you to grind it out. Like, you ain't got to hustle harder to get that. You got to stay connected. You don't have to prove your worth. You get to leverage your proximity to his. And when you understand that the truth is you just have to leverage your proximity to Jesus, then the length of your life no longer becomes a determining factor if you had a great life. You want your life to matter, you have to stay connected to the source, stay rooted in the word, stay surrounded by God's people, because when you're lined up to the vine, when you're linked up to the vine, fruit is inevitable. Acts 2, 42 through 47. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but the early church linked together teaching, fellowship, and prayer. And the result was explosive growth. Like, I know they say numbers don't matter, but the Bible gives us numbers all the time. And so when the early church started in Acts, it went from like 20 people to like 3,000 people first day of preaching when Peter stepped up, right? The Bible says people were added daily. A small group of believers became a global movement that we are still impacted by today because they link faith and they link mission. Some live 90 years and waste them. Some live 18 and change the world. Some live 90 years and waste them. Some live 18 and change the world. Jesus only lived 33 years on earth. But when his vapor linked with the Father's will, eternity shifted forever. Legacy isn't about living long, it's about living linked. I don't want people to say, gee, lived a long life at the end of my life. That is not my goal. Like, people think I'm joking when I say, I want to burn out. Like, I know people say, take a break, don't burn out. I want to burn out. I want to burn out because I want to be all in. I don't know if I'm going to be here at 75. I don't know if I'm going to be here at 80. I don't know if I'm going to be here at 50. I don't know if I'm going to be here tomorrow. But for today, while I'm here, I don't want to save something in the tank. I don't want to have something saved for next year. I don't want to have this thing that I don't say to this person about Jesus because I might have to say it next time. I want to be all in. I want to burn out. I want to burn out for Jesus. Each and every day I wake up, I want to feel like I gave everything I had that day to him and for him, because I don't know when this is over for me. We don't know when this is over for us. And you have no reason to sit back as if you have control over what the next 20 years looks like. Like, if you're not serving, if you're not leaning in, if you're not pressing forward, if you're not, why? What are you waiting for? What are you holding it on to it for? God put something in you. He equipped you with a gift or a talent or a skill. Ant can lead, he can sing his butt off. Could you imagine if he was just like, I'm only going to sing in my bathroom when I'm getting ready in the morning? It would be a waste of what God gave him. Like, God has put something in you. He's called you to step up and step out. What are you waiting for? Legacy isn't about living long. It's about living linked. You got to be linked to God's will, God's people, and God's mission. And when you do, your life will matter, because alone, your vapor fades. But together, our vapors form a movement. Legacy isn't about living long. It's about living linked. You got to be linked to the vine. You got to be linked to the word, linked to the spirit, linked to the mission, linked to the church. You got to be linked to the kingdom, because when you're linked to God's will, your weaknesses become a strength. True story. I am not good at talking to people. Like, I'm not. I'm a massive introvert. I'm shockingly shy. I prefer to sit on the side in a room in a dark place away from people. I'm scared of most of you all the time. It is my greatest weakness in life, and I'm not good at public speaking. What on earth am I doing as a pastor on stage? It is my greatest weakness. I am not good at it. Funny, Neosha is significantly better at talking to people than I am. She's more polished, she's more organized. Like, if you've been here today, you can tell I just go places. I have to fight my way back to this tablet, or else we're going to be talking about Narnia next minute. Like, I could be talking about anything. Like, I'm not good at it. One of our first Sundays here, somebody was first time at church. They haven't been back yet. And they came up to me on the way out the door. And they said, man, today was great. I love that message. Did you know that you can't speak well? It was my first time meeting this person. I've never met them or talked to them. And their first sentence was to tell me I don't talk well. Good thing I don't have self-esteem issues. God will take your weaknesses and turn them into strengths, because people in this church have met Jesus, and not because I'm a great preacher, but because they can hear Jesus regardless of how bad I am. Moses was an alcoholic who killed somebody. God used him. David was an abuser. He cheated. He killed people. He did horrible things. I know we gloss it over. But he did bad things, and God still used him. He was known as a man after God's own heart. He was a bit sketchy. I'm not telling you to be sketchy. I'm just saying, if you are sketchy, God can still use you. See, this is my problem. I need to stick to none of that's in here. I promise you, none of that was. When you're linked to God's people, your little becomes a lot. When you're linked to God's mission, your vapor becomes a victory. And hear me when I tell you, when you live linked, you don't just survive your days, you multiply your days. You don't just exist in time, you echo through eternity. So let me ask you this, 3 questions for you. Who or what are you really linked to right now? Like, you got to evaluate that for yourself. Who or what are you really linked to right now? Are you connected to the vine, or are you just trying to produce fruit on your own? There's a lot of us just trying to produce fruit on our own. And it may be here for a little while, and then it's going to fall to the ground. Question 3 is, when your vapor is no longer on this planet, will people briefly remember your years, or will they remember your yes to God? I cannot determine what my kids will remember about me. I can try, I can be a good person, I can be a good dad. I'm showing up at soccer games and basketball games. I'm sitting outside while Grayson rides his bike in an endless circle at the back of our cul-de-sac. And when I say endless circle, this boy rides 55 circles last night. I counted them. It's just a cul-de-sac circle, and he just kept going. And to the point where I said, hey, bro, if you want, it's dangerous, and the ocean's not outside, and we live a little more dangerous when mommy's not around. I said, you can just ride up the street and ride back down the hill. And we live at the bottom of like a legit hill, that if he loses control, he's just gonna flip. And I got tired of watching him ride in circles. I said, just go up the hill and risk it. It's nighttime. He's wearing all black. Actually, he wasn't all wearing black. He didn't have a shirt on. That was funny. He didn't have the shirt on, so he looked really dark, so you couldn't see him. He's chocolate like me, so you couldn't see him without lights. And I just let him go to the top of the hill. I couldn't even see him anymore. I just like, bro? He was like, yeah. Like, he cool. And he rolled down the street. I can't control what memories Grayson are going to have of me. But if I represent Jesus in a real and relevant way, it will become appealing to Grayson, and Grayson will know Jesus. And so 50 years from now, when I'm not here anymore, and Grayson's a Christian who's chasing after Christ, and he lives this out in such a way that his kids are now chasing after Christ, and then their kids, and then their kids. The legacy I leave behind isn't some picture on the wall. Think about it. Do you know your great-great-great-grandparents? No, you don't know their names. You probably don't have a picture of them. The legacy that we leave behind is not in a picture, it's not in a name, it's not in who we are. It's if we chase after Jesus and we make him plain and make him clear, and then we pass that down generation after generation, the impact we have will last forever. You live linked because if you live linked, your life will outlive you. And that is the goal. The goal is not to go out in a blaze of glory as G. There's been a million other versions of G out there, a bunch of crazy, funny, super cute black guys. Like, it's not rare in this world. Yoshi, you were supposed to say it's rare. You didn't give me nothing. It's like a bunch of other G's for you. Y'all, we got another Yoshi. Where are they at? Okay. Point 4, last point. Here we go. The Great Commission needs our combined vapors. Matthew 20:19 through 20 says, go and make disciples of all the nations. Jesus did not give the Great Commission to one person. He didn't say, hey, Peter, I'm going to build my church on you, so it's solely up to you. He gave the Great Commission to a group of people. He gave it to all the disciples. Missions are never meant to be solo assignments. Paul said in 1 Corinthians 3:6, Paul said, I planted. So Paul planted. Apollos, who was with him, watered. But God gave the growth. There are multiple people who did multiple things. I would not know Jesus today if it was just for the person who was the speaker at the camp where I met Jesus. I know Jesus because my grandparents showed up every week in my life, and they did dinner, they took me fishing, they took me hunting, and then they took me to church. I didn't meet Jesus there, but they had me in the environment. They planted, they plowed the road, and then I went to a place and I met Jesus there. Each of us has a role to play. We have a purpose to play. Notice what Paul says. Mission has always been multiplication, not individual achievements. Paul planted the seed, Apollos watered it, but God made it grow. None of us own the harvest. That is not our job. Our job is to plow the road, put some water down, sow some seeds, show up, be what God called us to be, and then let him work. That means the mission isn't a ministry program. It's a lifestyle. I am who I am regardless of where I am. Who are you? If you are just a Sunday Christian, go home. If you only serve and you look like you are living this out on Sundays, you have my permission to not serve here anymore. And listen, we're growing. We got new people coming each week. We're going to a place where we think we're going to see exponential growth. We're excited about the opportunity in the future, and we need people to jump on board and help. I would rather you not if you're only doing this on Sunday when it looks good. Every conversation is a calling. That person at Starbucks, that's the conversations you can have. And now Starbucks is doing this thing where they write your name on the cup. Has anybody been to Starbucks where they did that? At my Starbucks, they put hearts on the cup, and they don't tell you. And then your wife sees the hearts on the cup, and she said, why they write them hearts on the cup? So Starbucks, if you're watching, stop writing hearts on cups. Listen, the Starbucks person every morning is somebody you need to invite to church. The co-worker who sits across from you, the family member who drives you crazy, who annoys the life out of you, they need Jesus. Every environment is an assignment. The classroom that you're teaching in, the classroom that you're studying in, the gym where you work out, where you do the little trampoline workouts, where you riding them bikes with the little butt pad. They're not for big butt people. I shouldn't have said that. Jada, delete that part. Then you know, if you rode the bike, it's not pleasant. It's not comfortable. I did it one time and one time only. But there are people there that need to know you know Jesus. Every relationship is a responsibility. The friend group you run with, the child you're raising, that neighbor you wave at, it's not an accident. God put you in proximity to them to be a representative of him. I'm landing a plane. Mission isn't optional, it's oxygen. We need to live on mission. You don't add mission to your life like it's a hobby. You breathe it in and out. You live it. You show up. You grind. You go all in. You got to stop searching for purpose like it's hidden from you. Purpose isn't hidden. It's not a buried treasure. Purpose isn't lost. It is prescribed. Your job isn't just a place where you earn. Your job isn't a place where you earn. It's a place where you're sent. God put you there for a reason. Your home isn't just where you live. It is where you lead, and you lead your family. Your city isn't just where you exist, it is where you are assigned to be. Purpose isn't something you find, it's someone that you follow. That person is Jesus. I'm concluding, I'm landing the plane, we're done right here. It's like 4.5 points. What will you do with your vapor was the question that we started with. James' words aren't meant to paralyze us. They aren't meant to make us afraid of tomorrow. They're not meant to make us shut-ins or stay in the house. They're meant for you to understand the priority that you should set in your life. Life is fleeting, life is fragile, life is statistically fast. You can't control when it ends, but you can control how you live. So when you waste your life chasing applause or investing in pursuing what God has for you, when you waste your life scrolling endlessly or invest in serving sacrificially, will you waste your life in bitterness or being petty, or will you seek and be forgiven? Will you waste your life in trying to build your own name or invest in lifting other people up and then pointing them to the name above every name? Will you waste your life just surviving or invest in it by living on mission? If you give your vapor to God, he will turn it from a mist into a movement. If you give your vapor to God, he will turn your breath into a breakthrough. If you give your vapor to God, he will turn your seconds into significance. If you give your vapor to God, he will turn your pain into purpose. You got to decide, what are you going to do with your life? How are you going to live your life? Because what feels small in your hands becomes supernatural in his. What feels temporary in your story becomes timeless in his kingdom. If you give him your vapor, God will give you his victory. Don't waste your vapor. Don't waste your time. Listen, we're moving. We're moving. We're going somewhere. And we aren't going somewhere because we think that we should go there because it's a cooler environment, or it's a cooler room, or it's a better space, or it's more parking, or the air conditioning is different, or this or that, or this or this, or whatever it is. We're going because we know that God's going ahead of us. God has opened doors that make no sense. He's put us in position to step into places that we aren't good enough to be in on our own. We're not smart enough, we're not fancy enough, we're not anything. You got to decide, will you be a part of what God is about to do? Or are you going to keep living based on what you want it to look like for you? And you can do that. The beauty of it is that God allows us to live how we see fit. He gives us opportunities. He opens the doors. It's funny. Last week, I think I told the story about my car accident. Not the one, not that one, the other one, where I ignored the GPS. The GPS said, take exit 60. I said, nope, I know better. Take exit 59. Nope, I know better. All right, get off on 58. No, I'm good. I went the way that I wanted to go, and eventually the GPS adjusted to the direction that I was making it take me. And I get into a car accident, and I'm late for where I'm going, and Ainsley's late for school. And all these things happen because I ignored the GPS. True story, on Thursday, same thing is happening. I dropped the twins off at school, got Ainsley in the car, I'm taking her to school. The GPS, this time, tells me to go the way that I went the first time when I ignored it the other times. True story, I was nervous to go that way. It's a way I've gone a million times, but because I ignored the directions the first 4 times, got in an accident the most recent time, and it told me to go back that way this time as the preferred way, I was nervous. But I went that way because at this point, I'm not going to ignore what this thing tells me. And I think God does that a lot of times for us in our real lives, is that he gives us opportunities to go back the direction that we went, where we might have messed something up because we ignored him the first time. And we messed up. We got in an accident. We went our own way, and it didn't turn out the way we thought it would turn out. And God says, I'm going to redeem that for you. I'm going to give you an opportunity to go back the way you just went, the way that things got messed up, the way that there was an accident. I'm actually going to send you that way back so that you can learn to be confident when you go back through that same way. And I can use your story so that other people can hear it and see it. I know that there's some people who don't serve at a church because you've been hurt by church. There's some people you don't come every week because somebody said something one Sunday that bothered you. And truly, I tell you, you're going to get hurt by people. The church is going to, the people of the church will say things that you don't like. I promise you, I will say things that you don't like if I haven't already. That is not my goal. That is not my job. That is not my ambition. My ambition is to be honest and real with you. But don't let something stupid that I say stop you from leaning into who God has called you to be. Don't let something hurtful that the people of the church did put a bad taste in your mouth of what the church is. The church are a collection of people, and people are flawed individuals. But when I tell you that God has a direction for your life and a purpose for your story, that whether you live for 18 years or 80 years, he can leverage who you are to influence the kingdom for his purposes. So I got to ask you, what's stopping you from becoming and leaning into who God has called you to be, from taking your vapor and saying, I don't know how much longer I have, but I don't want to save anything. I want to burn out for Jesus. I want every day I want to be on empty, and I want to pass out when I go home. Sure, you go find some time to rest, you recover, that is fine. There's nothing wrong with Sabbath breaks, Jesus, like the God did in creation. None of that is what I'm saying. I'm saying stop holding back who you are. Stop holding back the gifts that he put in you. The church needs you. This church needs you. Your friends need you. Your co-workers need you. Your family needs you. The kingdom of God needs you to stop holding back and to step up with boldness and confidence in who God has called you to be.